Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight. Another great day of boxing coming up. But it started off early in the morning in the Netherlands when we live streamed from a location where big boxing is going to be happening tomorrow. We actually live streamed the weigh-in featuring our very own host here on Talk and Fight, David or Julie. Fantastic stuff. Good to see us on the cutting edge of boxing and technology and bringing you all the news fit to print today. Let's start off with pay-per-view, which is always in the news. But in this respect, the Devin Haney fight going on and what Bob Arum has to say about it. Undisputed lightweight king Devin, the Dream Haney, 29-0, and former three-weight world champion and pound-for-pound king Vasily Lomachenko, 17-2, 11 knockouts. Met face-to-face for the first time in Los Angeles at the official kickoff press conference for their pay-per-view clash on May 20th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Said Haney, well, he had all the belts. He didn't want to fight me, but it's a fight where I truly believe I'm the better fighter. I'm the better competitor. I will be victorious. I'm happy that the time has finally come. Bob Arum had this to say. As you know, Top Rank is his prime time partner, ESPN, took an atypical approach to setting the price for pay-per-view shows on this particular event. That'll feature Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko. Competitors and even ESPN and Top Rank themselves have previously raised prices when they've offered expensive events they believed would captivate consumers in the United States. More than most pay-per-view shows, by the way. Showtime, Premier Boxing Champions, and Golden Boy will offer the Gervonta Davis Ryan Garcia card for $84.99 on April 22nd from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. That's $10 more than it cost to purchase the Showtime PBC card, headlined by super middleweights David Benavidez and Caleb Plant last Saturday over at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. So, Top Rank and ESPN were involved in the second and third heavyweight championships battles between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and I've learned a little bit, both of which cost $79.99. So ESPN and Top Rank made the Terrence Crawford Sean Potter show available only through ESPN Plus, which cost $69.99 and an additional $6.99 for a 1-month subscription to ESPN's streaming service, $76.98 US in total. This time, however, ESPN and Top Rank actually lowered the price for the Haney Loma fight from the typical $69.99 or $74.99 to $59.99. Their hope, according to Arum's explanation Thursday during a press conference in Los Angeles, as I described, is to entice more buyers to dropping the price and increase interest overall in their lightweight showdown. The lower price still isn't cheap for a fight, Arum told BoxingScene.com late last year that he had hoped to keep off pay-per-view, but the 91-year-old promoter and his network partners considered it a worthwhile risk. So he said, we studied this with ESPN, and we determined that this fight had enough interest that if we went with a price point that was less than what everybody else was charging, that we would make up for it by an increased number of buys. Now, whether that happens or doesn't happen remains to be seen. But all I know is that anybody that calls themselves a boxing fan, they have to watch this fight. And that's the determination we made setting the price for the pay-per-view cost. The 12-round 135-pound bout between the unbeaten Haney and Lomachenko is intriguing, and the outcome will determine boxing's fully unified lightweight champion. It is unlikely, however, to come close to generating the buy rate Davis and Garcia is getting, two of the most popular boxers in the sport. Who will produce 4 weeks earlier and was generally regarded as the highest profile fight on the boxing calendar, even though there's a title at stake. True enough. Anyway, Bob Arum went on to reveal in BoxingNews24.com, as reported by Jake Tiernan, Bob Arum revealed today that Alexander Usyk's purse would have been $20 million to fight Tyson Fury in London, whereas he would have made $60 million from Saudi Arabia if the fight had taken place there in April 29th for the undisputed heavyweight clash. According to Arum, Usyk, who's 20-0, had already made his own deal with the Saudis to get 60 million, and naturally, he wasn't happy to take a massive $40 million pay cut to fight Fury, 33-1, in London at Wembley Stadium, as I said, on April 29th. Usyk was still willing to fight Fury on that date, even making considerably less money. Arum didn't go into what Fury felt about the prospects of making less money fighting in London against the crafty Usyk, but one can surmise that with the roadblocks he put in front of the talented IBF, WBA, WO champion, with the lopsided 70-30 per split, and then the 50-50 rematch clause, he wasn't keen to fight him in the UK on the 29th at all. In other words, Fury wanted to wait on the Saudi money to come through before fighting Usyk. Arum says the Fury-Usyk fight was moved to London for April 29th because the Saudis wouldn't be ready to stage the battle in their country until December. He said, what's happening in boxing is the Saudis show interest, and everybody wants to put everything on hold to see if the Saudis come through with really big money. And once the Saudis told us they weren't interested in the Fury-Usyk fight this time, and then it was very easy to finalize. And Bob Arum said to Steve Kill on Twitter about the Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk fight, and which then failed to happen. Because he said in the Middle East, the tendency to put up a lot more money than any place else is normal for people, all kinds of people, whether promoters or fighters, to hold out and hope that lightning strikes. I mean, that was the problem with the Fury-Usyk negotiations. The deal that was worked out for the Usyk fight in London was that he pretty well guaranteed between 12 million and 15 million pounds, which is almost $20 million. He said, but he had talked previously with the Saudis who were interested in doing this fight, but not until the winter, where they had apparently agreed to pay him $60 million US. So you can blame him for being disappointed with the 15, 20 million in the UK. No matter, that's human nature, said Arum. Alrighty, let's clock along here to former two-time heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua admits that his upcoming fight with Jermaine Franklin is the last chance to rebuild his career. As we all know, Joshua collides with Franklin, as explained by Holly Donovan on Talkin Fight earlier. Over at the O2 Arena in London, the British superstar is looking to recover after suffering back-to-back defeats at the hands of unified champ Alexander Usyk. This time around, Joshua has been prepared by new head trainer Derek James. Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, said the boxer's career is at stake with Franklin. I think Eddie's right, said Joshua, because how long can this run go on? For 3, 4, 5 years, and you know how quick time goes. We're saying this now, and we can look back in 2 years, 3 years, and be like, fuck, what hell? What happened? So it's gonna go. So if I was going to do another run after this, you're talking about fighting into my 40s, and I believe boxing is a young man's sport. It really takes a solid character like Bernard Hopkins, George Foreman, Vladimir Klitschko, or Alexander Povetkin to go into their 40s. But this is a run I want to make successful and then hopefully go out on top. Kudos to him, and let's see if that happens. And finally, for the last story of the day, I wanted to let you know that the Stephen Fulton versus Naoya Inoue unified world title fight has been rescheduled for July 25th, and that's been confirmed by our friends over at Sky Sports in the UK. Former undisputed bantamweight champ Inoue, who's 24-0 as a pro, is stepping up to super bantamweight to challenge Stephen Fulton for the unified WBC and WBO titles, as I said, on July 25th. I think that's happening in Japan. We'll confirm all the details later. It's a nice, decent, short little story and a headline for us to conclude this show. Thank you very much for joining me. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Congratulations to the team over in the Netherlands and the team here at Talkin Fight for putting on that great live stream of the weigh-in featuring our own David Rajuli. We'll see you later on at 4 and then later on at 7. First at 4 p.m. with Mike Gore and Cedric Ben for their show Knuckle Up, and then 7 p.m. with Tim Witherspoon on the Friday night panel. Thank you. See you then.